Hello, welcome to another episode of Sketchman Draws. This is Boris. Just a quick introduction. You can find most of my content at my website, sketchmanboris.com. And when it comes to Instagram account, I have two. One, Sketchman_Boris, is for general illustrations, fan art, and all images related to tutorials. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, it is Sketchman Draws is my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I have a lot of interesting videos coming up. So today we'll be talking about the human figure and how to draw it with the right proportions. So by the way, I'm recording this after I recorded the screen. So as I'm looking at this, I'm commenting and taking you through the process. So I think this is drawing basics, which means like you have to be able to do these practices maybe as a warm-up for these exercises, or for this video you can also draw. Of course, I encourage you to draw after watching the video. So what you need to do is try to figure out the middle of lines, because this will be important, especially when drawing human anatomy, because we are dealing with symmetry, we are dealing with alignment, and of course body proportions. So actually I'm going to do a few ones just here, so you can also do them quickly, or if you have more time, you can fill the whole page with these lines as an exercise to get that muscle memory and to get some mileage on that practice. And while I do this, please be aware that you don't need a ruler for this. I mean, I'm doing this digitally, and as you can see, I'm not using any of the tools to make the lines really straight. I'm just going to go ahead and do like rough lines, and of course the point is to try to eyeball sort of the lines. So for example, here is the middle. It doesn't have to be exact, because if you take the ruler and then measure it on the screen, I'm sure it's not the exact center, but that's where I feel the middle is. And of course, try to do lines with different widths, different sizes. And of course, like, the point is to determine, like, okay, do the half and then half of that, and then separate that into halves, and so on. Of course, you can also do, because we are talking about body proportions, we're going to talk about anatomy, so also do like lines in different directions. Like, I've done some in diagonals. You can also do them in verticals, because we'll be using them later on. So there's a reason why I start the video with this, because this is going to be helpful for us when we practice building the model for body proportions. And same here, I'm using vertical. I'm doing different sizes. I don't really care if it's really straight. I'm just trying to do this practice to get a sense of proportion, a sense of dimension in my head, and know how to eyeball visually something and where to find the middle. So you might have seen these pictures, probably somewhere else, but please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this one is from the Bridgman book on anatomy or drawing. So please, if it's not, please correct me, because so as you can see, we're going to be using this one, the 8 heads. Actually, that's the title of the video, because you can also play with the size, different types, different proportions of the body, as a storytelling mechanism, as a characterization, to give your characters some depth. So you have to keep this in mind. This is a comic strip I did. As an artist, is someone who turns human beings into this. So we have to try to symbolize. We have to try to simplify things in order to draw things. So you might have seen this mannequin, a lot of artists have it. I have it. I use it sometimes for difficult extreme angles. And this is what we will be building. as a neutral basis for studying human anatomy. Because I don't want to get into the ages, I don't want to get into the genders and like different, like here for this video, I just want to take you, like, especially if this is the first time you're going to try body proportions, just worry about the general proportions. So here, just a breakdown, and then I'll do it like together. So I'll show you. I just made like rectangles of equal height, like 8 of them. So they stand for 8 heads, of course. So and what we'll be looking at is especially the bottom of each head, or bottom of most heads. Okay, so for example, of course it starts with the top of the head, but like I said, we're going to be interested in the bottom of the heads. So the first bottom of the head is where the chin will be. Okay, the second bottom of the head is where the nipples, the nipple area will be. The third bottom of the head is where the elbows or the belly button, the navel, will be. Again, I apologize for my videos for my bad handwriting. For the next bottom of the head will be crotch, which is actually exactly in the middle. And of course we go to knees, and then the bottom of the last head below will be where the heel is. So I'm just drawing here quickly is because we don't have a good view from this side. But let's say this is like the like a foot, and so when I say like, so that will be our last measuring point where these heads will stop. So when I remind you that of course these are from like a summary video that I summarized from my online classes and meetups. The details under the description. You can join the meetup group and join my weekly online lessons for free, and you get to ask questions to me. So I'm just going to build together, so you can also do this with me. So first one, of course, I just simplify. I drew the oval representing the head, and then I know that somewhere in that area, especially in the first third half of the second head, there will be neck and shoulders. Again, I'm really going quickly, and I'm just drawing roughly like shapes to symbolize different body parts, like for example simple lines for shoulders, circles for each extremity of the shoulders. This is where the rib cage will be, so the nipple, so the second bottom of the second head we said is the nipple area. The third head will be where the navel will be. Okay, the next bottom of the head is where the crotch area will be. Okay, again, that pelvic area, I draw it as a underwear. So again, just to give you a visually, like let's say, like if you want to keep something in mind, which is the reason why I chose 8 heads is because it gives you a simplified view, and you know that in the middle there will be the crotch. Okay, and of course in the lower area, the middle will be where the bottom of the knees will be. So I can start with ovals representing that knee area, like as they're like just resting on that line there, and then I just connect thighs, and I'll do the same thing with the heel. I'll draw the heel and then connect it back to the knee or the knees. So especially this section, please go ahead and play this section many times if you want, and try to draw along many times as you want. So near the belly button, we said that's where the elbow will be. Like actually, So one of the things that you can do, especially drawing a human body, you have a human body, right? So try to like look at it, like try to like just try to like hang your arms and see where your elbow falls, and try to, so you know, like or better yet, stand in front of a mirror, or now everybody has cell phones, so take pictures. So here, like, you know, I'm just drawing like pockets just to show that, you know, like you know, so the reason why the pockets are there is because that's where the hands will hang, that's where the wrist will be. So the sort of the wrist area is aligned with the crotch area. Okay. And again, I'm simplifying this because this is not the video where I'll be covering how to draw wrists, how to draw hands. That will be another video. And there you have it. So again, like I said, play this section again and again, so like however many times you want, just to get this. So I'd like to remind you that this is for 8 heads, and and if you have any questions, and by the way, any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. So I'm going to imagine, like I'm going to build everything from ground up. So I'm going to imagine a scene, okay, where, let's say you have to draw like a scene, and you have one character, like character 1, who's standing a little bit far away from the camera. And the character 2, sorry, who will be standing closer to the camera. So this is where the lines that we drew in the beginning will come useful. Now that we know like what are the different sections, now we know that when we draw this vertically and we see it, we draw a line in the middle, that's where the crotch area will be, okay? And then, so the first half, or the upper half, will be the upper body, and the lower half will be the lower body. So for the upper body, we need to separate it in 4 sections, but for the lower half, we don't really need to separate it, because what we are interested in is where the knees are, or the bottom of the knees are. So you can just separate it in half once. Again, I'm doing this parallelly for character 1 and character 2. So and I'm just going to show you that, yeah, this will be where the upper body will be, this is where the lower body will be. So 4 heads and 4 heads. I'm just going to erase it because I just want it to be really clear, otherwise the drawing I'm going to do is going to be really messy. So I'm going to take you through the process or the steps again. So let's start with the small one. Okay. And so yeah, again, same thing. Try to do these practices and try to apply this, like take pictures of someone and try to draw this using this. So of course we draw the head, the neck and the shoulder area, which we know is near the 1/3 of the second head, okay? And then the, you know, that section that represents for me the rib cage. So here I'm just adding some little bit more shape to sort of give it a little bit like I just gave it a hourglass shape to make it look more feminine. So let's just imagine that it's a female character. comes down to that crotch area there, and the bottom of the knees, and connect. And then I do the same thing for the heel. I have to admit, like, I do struggle sometimes. I don't get body proportions immediately right when I'm drawing, and of course, at this point, I don't use these measurements, these measuring unit as heads. Like I've drawn so many times that it has become muscle memory, and that's what I want you to. That's where I want you to be too. So here, for example, like, I'm really bit struggling because that didn't look right, because I think the lower, the bottom of the elbow should be near where the belly button is, rather than because otherwise it makes the arm look bigger than the forearm. I'm going to now work on the big one, so I follow the same steps again. Try this. Try to practice as much as you can. And of course I'll be doing another video on 7.5 heads, because I think that's the academically that's what's used. This is the 8 heads is what artists use, because they want to give their characters a little bit like a bigger than life sort of feeling. If you want to push it a little bit more, of course, like I showed you in the beginning, you can have like a heroic shape, which is 9 heads. But like that, so basically what we're doing, like in most of the videos you see, like in drawing, we're trying to break it down and then build it back up. So this is for body proportion, this is the way to do it. This is how you break down a human figure and then build it back up. Also maintaining that proportion, right? Like, and also like as we talked about in our online lesson, I said that, like when you draw something, because we look at people all the time, if there is something wrong, you'll sort of feel it. Like, so also don't forget to listen to that instinct, because you'll also develop that artist instinct. So, and don't feel free to draw it again. Okay. So, and again, I went from the dimensions in blue to the human figure or the model. Okay, like the mannequin. And then again, now there are a lot of resources for you to practice, like to have 3D models and so on. So hope you like this video, and please like, share and subscribe. As I said, you can go to my website, or you can follow me on Instagram, sketchman_Boris, or Comics by Boris for my comic strips. And of course, don't forget to like and share with your friends, and I hope to see you in one of my online lessons. And this is Boris for Sketchman Draws, signing off.